Hey everybody, this is Kevin from Fort Orange Woodworking, and in today's video I am going to be retiring my Husky 9-gallon shop vacuum and replacing it with this Dewalt 9-gallon shop vacuum. Now this Husky, although it's on the budget side, has served me very well for many years, about 15 to be exact. But it's starting to make a whining sound, and I tried as many things as I could to remedy this situation and try to get it to stop making that noise. But I'm not an engine repairman, and frankly, because it's really served its purpose over the years, I think it's time to let it go. So let's take a look at this Dewalt 9-gallon shop vacuum and see if it's going to be a good replacement for my old Husky. Let's check it out. Okay, so before we go digging into the Dewalt box, let's take a look at some of the features of this old Husky shop vacuum. It's a standard 9-gallon tank. It's an 8.2 amp motor. And like I mentioned before, it's just starting to make this whining sound, and I just can't take it anymore. It's too loud. It's served its purpose, and it's time to set this thing aside for a newer model. It comes with a standard 1 7/8 inch hose. I also have this Bosch dust bag that I put on the outlet port to collect fine particles so it doesn't just go blowing all over the place. And other than that, it's just been a standard wet dry shop vacuum. So with that being said, let's take a look at the new Dewalt. Okay, so here we've got this Dewalt 9-gallon 5 horsepower portable wet dry vacuum. It's model number DXV09P QT, and I believe the QT stands for quiet if I'm not mistaken, but they do boast that this wet dry vacuum is 50% quieter and more powerful than other brands. Let's take a look at what's inside. Mentioned earlier, this is also a 1 7/8 inch hose, which is great because I can use anything that I've already collected to use with this shop vacuum because they are the same size hose. I'm going to take a look at this in just a minute, show you what that's for. But first, let's take a look at the vacuum itself. Pull out a couple of these attachments, extenders, plastic bag, and let's pull out the vacuum itself. Okay, so this vacuum is billed as a Stealth Sonic. Mentioned before, this is a 9-gallon vacuum. It runs on 8 amps. It's got a standard 2 1/4 inch port for accepting a 1 7/8 inch final diameter hose. Let's give it a turn here. It does not seem to have an outlet port that I can find. Don't believe so. So it doesn't have a exhaust that blows out, so you can't use this as a blower like some shop vacs do, but that's really not a problem for me. All that does, as far as I'm concerned, is just blows dust around. What it does, however, have is this convenient drain port that you are seeing a lot more often these days with shop vacs, because if you have to fill them with water, you got to drain it. And this is definitely a handy feature to have on any shop vacuum. Wheels are going to be inside. 4 wheels go down here at the bottom on the base. Let's go ahead and take this top off. Handy large clips, those are nice. Big on-off button, but I run mine on a pedal style switch, so I don't really have much use for this, but this is a nice big button there. Taking the top off. Comes with a very large air filter. Okay, so here's the dust filter. To replace this, you go from lock to unlock, and that just pops right off. Comes back on. Simple twist, no wrenches, no bolts. That's a handy feature as well. Put this to the side. Inside we've got 7-foot hose, quick clip, 1 7/8 inch diameter hose at the final end. So if you already own a 1 7/8 inch hose vacuum, this is going to be an easy transition. Got our wheels, an attachment, detail nozzle, to go with our brush nozzle. Comes with one dust vac bag. And these attachment posts, which I assume are going to be for that bag that we took out earlier that said we'd get to. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so we have used the screws provided to attach the wheels as well as the brackets for the carrying bag, and that's what this little pouch is for. That sits right in there. Bag sits in the back, and your attachments sit neatly right in here. Hopefully this doesn't interfere with my setup for my cabinet because I might need the clearance room, but most people don't, so this is handy. I've got this attachment. I've got one round brush attachment, my detailing attachment, my wide brush, and one dust bag, which I'm going to install in a little bit using the port provided. These also, you may notice, don't have a slot for these to fit in like other shop vacs do, but they do sit back here, and honestly, I hardly ever use these. Okay, so first things first, let's do a noise test. Now, this Husky, this is a little unfair because this Husky, like I mentioned, it's old, it's damaged. I know it's damaged, so this is not how it came in its original condition, but let's, just for the sake of it, have a listen to what I've been dealing with for the past month or so. Here we go. So that is currently what I'm dealing with the Husky noise. Now let's take a listen to the new Dewalt. Wow, that is significantly quieter. Not only is that quiet, but I am talking over the sound of that vacuum. Now they advertise this as 50% quieter with the new quiet technology, and I've got to say that I am really, really impressed right out of the gate with how quiet this shop vac is. But let's see if all that quietness lives up to the hype of doing its real job, which is sucking up dirt. Let's give it a shot. All right, I've got a sample of shavings from my bag of dust. This is pretty typical of the type of sawdust that I have to vacuum with this Husky on a regular basis when I was using it as my primary shop vacuum and dust collection. I've since upgraded to a 4-inch real dust collector. It's a Jet. Love that thing. Might talk about that another day, but for now, let me put my headphones back on because I'm scared to fire up that Husky again. But let's see how well the Husky does sucking up this collection of dust shavings with just the hose first. Okay, got most of it. I have noticed over the last month or so that has lost some of its power. Now I'm digging into the Dewalt bag. For the sake of fairness, I'm going to use the same attachment, and I'm going to use not the detailer but the smaller brush attachment to get the rest of this. that is about as much of that as I can take. Now, let's go to the Dewalt and see the same thing. Whew. And for all that quiet technology, I gotta say that worked really well. The Dewalt definitely outperformed the old Husky on that one. Very similar sized motor, but definitely the Dewalt is a clear winner on this. So, sorry to disappoint you if you were hoping to see a wet vac demonstration, but I am just not quite ready to get into all that yet. I don't want to use the wet vac feature unless I absolutely have to. It's going to involve taking the filter off, and honestly, I only use the wet feature in an absolute emergency. But I assume that it's going to perform similarly to the dry test. And there you have it. That was just a quick review of the Dewalt 9-gallon shop vacuum compared to my old Husky of the same size. And the Dewalt boasts that it's got quiet technology, up to 50% quieter than standard shop vacuums. And I gotta say, I was very impressed with the low level of noise that this thing puts out, especially compared to my old Husky, which is just really on its last leg. I think this is destined for Facebook Marketplace for free or something like that, but I just can't take it anymore. I'm really happy to be adding this Dewalt to my dust collection system. You may be wondering, how much did this thing cost? So, Home Depot, somewhere around 90 bucks on a Black Friday sale. I don't know if that price tag is current, but it's definitely in that range, and so far it seems to definitely be worth the money. I don't know about its longevity. That will have to wait to tell, but I think it's going to be a good addition to the shop and my dust collection system. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this was helpful. Please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I will see you next time in the shop. Thanks a lot, everyone. Take care.